Last year, Canon brought out the Canon EOS R7. It's a nice, lightweight, small aps-c system added into the R range of cameras, and it's lovely to see an aps-c camera in that range. We took it out last year, we reviewed it, we took photos like this. We primarily tried it out with wildlife because, of course, as an aps-c system, you're getting a lot of reach out of those lenses. But what kind of lenses should you be using with a camera like this? Of course, you've got some RF-S lenses now, which you can use with this, which are great because they're quite small, they're quite lightweight, so they work really well on the front of a camera like this, just in terms of the feel of the overall thing. But what about just general RF lenses? How do they work with the camera? How do they feel? And what kind of results are you going to be able to get? Well, of course, if you use an RF lens with the R7, you're going to have to think about that focal length. I've got something like this here, the 24-105. This is a fantastic all-rounder lens for all kinds of different cameras and all kinds of different photography or video. It's a lovely lens that I've used on cameras like the R6 II, the R5, but what about the R7? Well, first up, you're gonna have to adjust that focal length a little bit. 24-105 is the full frame focal length of a lens like this. And if you adjust that for an aps-c camera like the R7, you're gonna be looking at something a little bit more like 40 to about 170. I think it's just a little bit under that actually, but it's a little bit of a longer focal length to think about. But that doesn't really necessarily matter. If you use something like the RF 600mm, you're going to be getting a focal length of almost 1000 millimeters on not a particularly massive setup. If you go for something like the 800mm, you're going to be looking at an equivalent of about 1300mm, just under, when you use it with the R7. So if you want to use something like this for sports or for wildlife or for something where you want extra reach, you just really want as much reach as you possibly can get, this is a great option for you. This is going to be a fantastic way to use this camera. Now, that aps-c sensor in a Canon camera like this means that you want to be basically multiplying any focal length on a full frame lens like this by 1.6. So you're not going to be able to go as wide on some of the wide angle lenses. But outside of that, the trade-off is that you do get a lot more reach out of your lens. And then you've got those dedicated RF-S lenses if you do want to go a little bit wider with the R7. The actual image quality while using RF lenses with the R7 is still really, really good. All the RF lenses have been designed with absolutely great optical quality in mind, and it absolutely shines on a camera like this still. You can get some really stunning stuff, and a lot of these wildlife shots that we took last year actually were using RF lenses. So you can definitely get some beautiful results. Of course, prime lenses retain all their beautiful sharpness. You get a lot of detail out of a camera like this as well. And you're still getting those beautiful Canon colors as well. So there's a lot to love about using RF lenses with the R7. Is there a downside though? Well, apart from the wide angle part of things, the only thing I would say is that it is noticeable that some of these lenses, which are obviously designed for full frame systems, feel a little bit big, a little bit heavy on the front of the R7, which is a particularly light and not too big camera as well. That said, I don't know if it matters that much. I don't know if for me, that would be that big of a problem. The overall system, if you go for something like the RF 600mm, is still really, really quite lightweight for the kind of reach, almost 1000mm that you're gonna be using. If you go for something like the 800mm, it's still just not that heavy or that big. So if you're looking for something where you can shoot wildlife, sports, maybe you want to do something like telephoto landscapes, this is going to be a great system. And I'll tell you what I like about that as well, is that this also becomes a very useful second camera. If you've got an R5 or R6 or R6 II or something like that, this is a fantastic camera to have alongside that because you can use a lot of those lenses, you can get more reach out of them. So if you've got telephoto lenses and you really want to extend that, you can pop it on the front of something like this, but then you've got that full frame camera as well. So you kind of covers a few bases there. This is going to be fantastic for someone who's just really into photography, wants a lovely camera, plus you can get that extra reach. It's also going to be great for someone who is either semi-pro or even professional, who wants to have a second backup camera that can do all kinds of other things as well. Again, like that extra reach. Let me know what you think. Are you interested in an APS-C system? A lot of photographers that I've spoken to, kind of on the professional level, love the idea of something like this as a second camera to their full frame option. I think this is a lovely one to take out and about as well, kind of every day, just because of the size and the weight of it. It's just a lovely kind of go-to system for all kinds of different stuff. But let me know what you think. I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments. Of course, you can check out this camera, an assortment of different RF lenses as well as the RFS lenses. I'll pop them all down there in the description so you can go and check them out. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video, but until then, as always, thanks for watching.